I hired a PI, found evidence, and the truth hit me. I thought it was just the heat of the moment talk, but I never thought it was a promise of ruin.
Hey, my dear listeners, I am glad to have you here today. I am grateful for your support so far, but I insist again to please like and subscribe to my channel for more interesting stories.
His name was Marcus Chen. 50-something, former detective, ran a private investigation firm that specialized in wrongful convictions. My lawyer connected us. I met him at a coffee shop 3 towns over. I couldn't risk being seen in my own neighborhood anymore. I wore the baseball cap and sunglasses, sat in the back corner, ordered coffee I didn't drink. When Marcus walked in, he clocked me immediately, walked straight to my table, sat down without asking, and studied my face with the detached professionalism of someone who'd seen worse. "The eye?" he asked. "Permanent," I said. He nodded, made a note. "Tell me everything." So I did. I told him about waking up in jail, about the woman's photo, about my airtight alibi, about the release, about my family's rejection. I told him about the neighbor's confessions on social media. And I told him what I needed. Someone essayed her, someone she genuinely believed was me. I need to know who, and I need to know why the police didn't catch it. Marcus pulled out a tablet, opened a file, showed me the police report I'd never been allowed to see during my detention. Victim statement: he followed me from the bar. When I got to my car, he grabbed me from behind. It was dark, but I saw his face under the parking lot light. Mid-30s, black, about 61, athletic build, short hair, small scar near his left eyebrow. I'll never forget his face. I touched the scar near my left eyebrow unconsciously. "She gave a detailed physical description," Marcus said, "and you match it perfectly. But here's what's interesting. She also said he was wearing a red Nike hoodie and dark jeans. What were you wearing the night of the assault?" "I was home, in sweatpants. I don't even own a red Nike hoodie." "The police never checked that," Marcus said. "They had a physical match and a positive ID from a lineup. That was enough for them." "How did I even get in the lineup?" Marcus flipped through more documents. Anonymous tip. Someone called the police hotline and said they saw someone matching the description in your neighborhood, gave them your name and address. The police pulled your DMV photo, put you in a lineup, and the victim identified you. My blood went cold. Someone called in my name specifically. "Yeah." "Who?" The call was anonymous, but here's the thing: whoever called knew your address, knew you fit the description, and called within 12 hours of the assault. I stared at him. "You think someone set me up?" "I think someone who knew you and knew what the victim saw decided to point the police in your direction. Maybe to take heat off themselves, maybe for other reasons." "Can you find out who called?" "I can try, but first, I need to find out who actually did this, because that person is the key to everything." He closed the tablet, looked me straight in my one good eye. "This is going to cost you about $40,000 for a full investigation. I'll need to interview witnesses, pull security footage from every camera in a 3-mile radius, build a timeline, possibly hire forensic experts. Are you sure you want to do this? Because you could just walk away. You're free. You could move to a new city, change your name, start over." I thought about my dead eye, my lost job, my family's betrayal, the neighbors who'd admitted they beat me out of jealousy, the woman whose mistake had destroyed my life, the real assaulter walking free while I rotted. "I'm sure," I said. "Okay." He stood up, extended his hand. I shook it. "One more thing," he said. "If I find who did this and if it's someone you know, are you prepared for that?" I didn't hesitate. "Yes." Marcus worked fast. He started with the assault location, a bar called Lucky's on the east side of town. Place I'd never been to in my life. He pulled security footage from the bar and the parking lot, interviewed the bartender, the bouncer, other patrons who'd been there that night. He found her on the footage, the victim. Let's call her Sarah, because that's her real name and she deserves to be real in this story, not just the victim. Sarah had been at the bar with friends, celebrating something, a promotion Marcus found out later. She'd had a few drinks but wasn't wasted. Left around 11:30 p.m., told her friends she was fine to drive. The parking lot footage showed her walking to her car. And then it showed him. A man matching my description perfectly emerging from between two cars. Red Nike hoodie, dark jeans. He grabbed her from behind. What happened next was brutal, and I'm not going to describe it. Just know that it was violent and it was essayed, and Sarah fought as hard as she could, but he was bigger and stronger, and it was dark and she was alone. The footage was grainy, the parking lot lighting was shit, but you could see enough. Enough to see that he looked like me. Enough to see why Sarah identified me in that lineup. Enough to see that someone had deliberately dressed and positioned themselves to match the anonymous tip's description. Marcus froze the frame on the best angle of the man's face, enhanced it, zoomed in, and sent it to me with a single text. Do you know this person? I opened the image, and the world dropped out from under me. I knew that face. I'd known it my entire life. It was my cousin, Derek. We'd grown up together, same neighborhood, same schools until high school. We looked similar enough that people used to ask if we were brothers. Same height, same build, same scar near the left eyebrow. We'd gotten them the same summer, climbing the same tree, both falling the same stupid way. We even had the same way of standing, one hip slightly cocked, same mannerisms. On grainy security footage, in bad lighting, we'd be almost impossible to tell apart. I stared at that frozen image for 10 minutes. Derek had essayed Sarah. Derek had dressed in a way that matched my style. Derek had done this in a parking lot 3 miles from my apartment. And then someone, probably Derek, had called in an anonymous tip giving the police my name. He'd framed me. My own cousin had committed a violent essay and then deliberately, methodically, framed me for it. I called Marcus. It's my cousin, I said. My voice sounded dead even to me. Derek Matthews, he's my cousin. Silence on the line. You're sure? I'm sure. Okay, that's okay. Do you know where he lives? Yeah, 40 minutes north. He works in finance, has a wife, 2 kids. Does he have a criminal record? No, Derek's the golden child. Perfect grades, perfect job, perfect family. Everyone loves Derek. More silence. I need to ask you something, Marcus said carefully. Is there any reason Derek would want to frame you specifically? And that's when it all clicked into place. To understand why Derek framed me, you need to understand our family. My parents, Marcus and Patricia Thompson, had me when they were young, 22 and 23, struggling. My dad was working 2 jobs. My mom was in nursing school. I was the unexpected baby that made everything harder. They loved me, I think, in their way, but I was always a reminder of their struggling years. Derek's parents, my Uncle James and Aunt Claire, were different. They waited until their 30s, established careers, financial stability. Derek was planned, wanted, celebrated. And Derek was perfect. Straight A's without trying, star athlete, scholarship to a prestigious university, high-paying job right out of college, married his college sweetheart, had 2 kids before he was 30. I was not perfect. I was smart enough, got good grades, went to a decent state school, but I had to work for it. I was anxious, introverted, didn't play sports. Took me a while to find my career path. But I did okay. I got a good job in tech, worked my way up, started making really good money by my late 20s, bought a nice car, nice apartment, nice clothes. And that's when the family dynamic started to shift. Because suddenly, I wasn't the struggling disappointment anymore. I was doing better than Derek. My job paid more, my apartment was nicer, my car was newer. And my parents, who'd spent my entire childhood comparing me unfavorably to Derek, suddenly started bragging about me at family gatherings. Derek hated it. I remember Thanksgiving 3 years ago. My mom was showing everyone photos of my new apartment. My dad was telling Uncle James about my promotion. Derek sat there, smile fixed on his face, and I could see the rage behind his eyes. After dinner, he cornered me in the kitchen. "Must be nice," he said. "What?" "Finally getting the attention you always wanted. Finally making mommy and daddy proud." "Derek, I don't know what. You think you're better than me now, because you got lucky with some tech job. I don't think I'm better than anyone." "Bullshit, I see how you look at me, how you look at all of us, like we're beneath you now." "That's not." "Just remember," he said, stepping closer, voice dropping to a whisper, "you're still the mistake baby, the burden, the disappointment, and everyone knows it. This little success, it won't last, and when you fall, we'll all be there to watch." He walked away. I thought he was just drunk and bitter. I didn't realize he was making a promise. Marcus dug deeper into the timeline. The assault happened on April 15th, a Friday night. The anonymous tip came in on April 16th, Saturday morning, 6 a.m. My arrest happened on April 17th, Sunday morning. But here's what Marcus found. On April 14th, the day before the assault, Derek had been seen in my neighborhood. Multiple witnesses, security footage from local businesses. He'd been there walking around, watching. "He was casing you," Marcus said when he showed me the footage. "Learning your patterns, making sure he knew where you lived, what you looked like in person, how to replicate your appearance." "But why?" I asked. "Why go through all this? Why not just, I don't know, move on with his life?" Marcus pulled up another document. Derek's financial records. He had contacts in banking. "Your cousin is broke," he said. I stared at the numbers. Derek, perfect, successful golden child Derek, was drowning in debt. Credit cards maxed out, mortgage underwater, personal loans from shady sources, gambling debts. "How?" I asked. "He makes good money." "Made good money," Marcus corrected. "He got fired 6 months ago for embezzlement. It was kept quiet. The company didn't want the scandal. They let him resign instead of prosecuting. But he's been unemployed since October. His wife doesn't know. He's been pretending to go to work every day." The picture was becoming clear. Derek's perfect life was a lie. He was desperate, broke, and probably unstable. And I, the family disappointment turned success story, was a constant reminder of his failure. "This wasn't just about framing you for SA," Marcus said quietly. "This was about destroying you, about taking you down to where he is, making you suffer like he's suffering." He essayed an innocent woman to frame me. I think he was planning to essay someone anyway. He's escalating the gambling, the embezzlement, now this. Men like Derek don't usually stop at financial crimes when they're spiraling. And once he decided to do it, why not frame you at the same time? Two birds, one stone. I felt sick. "We need to tell the police." "We will, but first I need to build an airtight case. Because here's the thing, Derek is beloved. Perfect son, perfect father, pillar of the community. And you're the guy who was already arrested and publicly accused. If we go to the police with half a case, they'll dismiss it. We need overwhelming evidence." "How long?" "2 more weeks, maybe 3. I couldn't wait 3 weeks. I needed to know if my family knew. If they'd suspected it was Derek, and let me take the fall anyway. So I did something stupid. I drove to my parents' house. I hadn't been there since they'd hung up on me in jail, hadn't spoken to them in over a month. I parked across the street and sat there for 10 minutes, working up the courage. Finally, I got out, walked to the door, knocked. My mother answered. The look on her face when she saw me, I'll never forget it. Not relief, not joy that I was okay. Fear. What are you doing here? She asked. I need to talk to you and Dad. We have nothing to say to you. Mom, please. I know you think I did something, but I didn't. I was released. I have proof I was home. I don't want to hear it. Mom. Pietricia, who is it? My father's voice from inside. My mother's face went pale. Marcus, I need you to leave. No, I need to talk to both of you. I need to understand. My father appeared behind her. His face hardened when he saw me. I told you not to come here. Dad, I was innocent. I was released. The police made a mistake. Get off my property. I just need 5 minutes. He pulled out his phone. I'm calling the cops. To report what? I'm your son. You're nothing to me. You want to know why we believed it? Because we've always known there was something wrong with you, something dark. And when they told us what you did, it made perfect sense. The words hit like physical blows. There's nothing wrong with me, I said. My voice was shaking. I was framed. Someone set me up. Of course you'd say that, my mother said. You've always been a liar, always made excuses. I never lied to you. You're lying right now, my father shouted, standing on my doorstep pretending to be innocent when we know what you are. It was Derek. The words came out before I could stop them. Silence. My parents stared at me. What? My mother whispered. It was Derek, my pi found footage. Derek essayed that woman. He looks like me. He dressed like me. He framed me. And then someone called in an anonymous tip with my name. It was him. My father's face was unreadable. My mother looked like she might be sick. You're delusional. My father said finally. I have proof, security footage, financial records showing his motive, witness testimony. Derek would never. He did, and I think you know it. My mother made a small sound, a whimper. My father's hand tightened on the door frame. Get out, he said. Did you know? I asked. My voice was barely a whisper. When the police called you, when they told you I'd been arrested, did you suspect it might be Derek? My mother turned away, started walking back into the house. Mom, did you know? She kept walking. My father's jaw clenched. And in that moment, I saw the truth in his eyes. They'd known. Maybe not for certain, maybe just suspected. But when the police had called, when they'd heard the description, when they'd been told about the arrest, they'd thought of Derek. And they'd chosen to let me burn rather than investigate. You knew, I said. You fucking knew. We knew, my father said quietly, that Derek has a family, a wife, 2 children, a reputation, and you're alone. No wife, no kids, no responsibilities. Between you and Derek, the choice was obvious. I couldn't breathe. I'm your son. And he's my nephew, my brother's son, those kids' father. We made a choice to protect the family. I'm family. No, my father said. You're the mistake we've been paying for since you were born. Derek is the family's future. You're just you. He closed the door. I stood there on the porch, staring at that closed door, and something inside me died. Not broke, not bent. Died. The last part of me that hoped, that believed, that thought maybe, my family loved me. Gone. I drove to a parking lot, called Marcus. They knew, I said when he answered. Who knew? My parents. They knew it was Derek or suspected, and they let me go to jail anyway. They let the mob take my eye. They let me lose everything. Because Derek has kids and a wife and I'm just me. Silence on the line. I'm sorry, Marcus said finally. Don't be sorry, just build the case, because I'm not going to the police. What? I'm going to do this legally. I'm going to prove Derek did it. I'm going to clear my name. And then I'm going to sue every single person who destroyed my life. My parents, Derek, the police, my neighbors, my employer, every single one. That's going to be expensive and brutal, and it might not work. I don't care. They took everything from me. I'm taking everything from them. Okay, Marcus said. Okay, give me 2 weeks. I'll have everything you need. Marcus delivered. He delivered everything. Security footage from 6 different cameras tracking Derek's movements the night of the assault. Cell phone records showing Derek's phone pinging off towers near the bar, near my apartment. Financial forensics showing Derek had researched me online, looked up my address, even Googled how to frame someone for a crime. Witness testimony from people who'd seen Derek in my neighborhood the day before the assault. And the piece de resistance, Derek's red Nike hoodie, found in a dumpster 2 blocks from my apartment, with Sarah's DNA and fibers from the parking lot. How did you find the hoodie? I asked. He tried to burn it but didn't do a good job, then panicked and threw it away. I had a hunch about which dumpster route he'd use based on his location data. Got lucky. Marcus laid it all out on his office table. This is enough, he said. More than enough. We go to the DA with this, Derek gets arrested, you get exonerated. I stared at the evidence of my cousin's calculated cruelty. What about Sarah? I asked. The victim, does she know? Not yet, but she should. She deserves to know she identified the wrong man, and she'll need to re-identify Derek for the prosecution. I thought about that, about Sarah who'd been SA'd, who'd fought for her life, who'd given a statement, who'd picked me out of a lineup believing she was getting justice, who was probably living with guilt now, wondering if she'd put an innocent man in jail. I want to meet her, I said. That's not a good idea. I don't care, set it up. I need to see her face when she realizes what happened. Marcus studied me for a long moment. You're angry, he said. I'm furious. At her. At everyone. At Derek for doing this. At my family for knowing and not caring. At the police for not investigating. At my neighbors for beating me. At my employer for firing me. At the world for destroying me over a lie. Sarah didn't lie, Marcus said quietly. She was SA'd. She identified who she thought SA'd her. She's a victim too. I know, I said. That's why I want to meet her, because I need to look her in the eye and decide if I forgive her for the mistake that cost me everything. And if you don't forgive her, I touched my dead eye. Then I don't forgive her. Before I could set up a meeting, Sarah found me. Or rather, she found my lawyer. She'd been following the news, knew I'd been released, knew there were questions about the identification. She left a voicemail. Hi, this is Sarah Chen. I'm the woman who identified Marcus Thompson as my attacker. I've been seeing the news about his release and I need to talk to him. I need to know if I made a mistake. I need to know if I sent an innocent man to jail. Please, please call me back. Her voice was shaking. I listened to that voicemail 5 times. This woman who'd been violated in the worst possible way was worried about me. Was scared she'd done something wrong, when all she'd done was try to identify the man who SA'd her in a dark parking lot while traumatized and terrified. And I realized Derek had 2 victims, Sarah who he'd SA'd, and me who he'd framed. We'd both had our lives destroyed by him. We were on the same side. So I called her back. We met at a victims advocacy center, neutral ground, therapists on standby. I brought Marcus, she brought her counselor. When I walked into that room and saw her in person for the first time, my breath caught. She looked tired, haunted. She had dark circles under her eyes, her hands were shaking. When she saw my destroyed eye, she made a small sound. Oh my God, she whispered. We sat down across from each other. Silence. Finally, she spoke. Did I do that to you? No, I said. A mob did that to me when I was arrested. The police let it happen. Because of my identification. Because of a broken system and a man who framed me. She started crying. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was so sure. I looked at you in that lineup and I was sure. I would have bet my life on it. And I was wrong and you went to jail and you lost your eye and eye. Sarah, I said gently, you didn't make a mistake. You correctly identified someone who looked like the man who essayed you. The police made a mistake. They put the wrong person in the lineup. Marcus pulled out the enhanced security footage, showed her Derek's face side by side with mine. She stared at it. Oh my God. She breathed, you're like twins. Cousins, I said. We grew up together. Same height, same build, same scar. In that parking lot in the dark, traumatized. I don't blame you for the identification. But I ruined your life. No, Derek ruined both our lives. She looked up at me with red-rimmed eyes. Why would he frame you? I told her everything. The family dynamics, Derek's financial collapse, his jealousy, the premeditation. She listened, horror growing on her face. He essayed me to frame you. I think he was planning to essay someone anyway. Men like Derek don't suddenly become violent. This was probably escalation. But once he decided to do it, framing me was a bonus for him. She put her face in her hands. I helped him destroy you. I'm part of why he's free and you're. Sarah, look at me. She did. You are not responsible for what Derek did. You are not responsible for the police putting me in a lineup without proper investigation. You are not responsible for the mob that beat me or the family that abandoned me. You survived a violent assault. You did everything you were supposed to do. You reported it. You gave a description. You identified who you thought was your attacker. You did nothing wrong. But you lost everything. Because the system failed us both, not because of you. She wiped her eyes, took a shaky breath. What happens now? Now, I said, we make sure Derek pays for what he did to both of us. We went to the DA together. Sarah, me, Marcus, and Sarah's victim advocate. We presented the evidence. The DA, a woman named Jennifer Hartley, listened to everything, watched the footage, read the forensic reports. When we finished, she sat back in her chair and rubbed her temples. This is a prosecutorial nightmare, she said. How? I asked. We already arrested and charged you, publicly. The media coverage was extensive. If we now arrest your cousin, it looks like we screwed up massively, which we did, but admitting it opens us up to lawsuits. I'm going to sue you anyway, I said flatly. She looked at me. I'm suing the police department for allowing mob violence. I'm suing my employer for wrongful termination. I'm suing my neighbors for assault and battery. I'm suing my family for. I'll figure out the legal basis, but I'm suing them. And yes, I'm suing your office for negligent prosecution. Mr. Thompson, I lost my eye. I lost my job, my family, my reputation, my life, because your office couldn't be bothered to do basic due diligence before arresting someone. So yes, I'm suing. The question is whether you want to make this easier by prosecuting Derek or harder by fighting me. Silence. Jennifer looked at Sarah. Do you want to press charges against Derek Matthews? Absolutely, Sarah said. Her voice was steady now, stronger. He sad me. He framed an innocent man. He needs to pay for both. Jennifer nodded slowly. Okay, she said. Okay, I'll get an arrest warrant for Derek Matthews. We'll need you both to testify when this goes to trial. Not a problem, I said. And Mr. Thompson, I can't stop you from suing the DA's office, but for what it's worth, I'm sorry. We failed you. We failed Sarah, and we're going to make it right. I stood up. Making it right means Derek in prison for the rest of his life. Everything else is just words. Derek was arrested 3 days later. At his home, in front of his wife and kids. Marcus had a contact in the department who tipped us off about the timing. I was there, watching from across the street. I needed to see it. Needed to see him realize his perfect life was over. The police knocked. His wife answered, pretty blonde woman, confused expression. Derek came to the door, still in his work clothes even though he didn't have a job, still maintaining the lie. When he saw the police, his face went white. Derek Matthews, you're under arrest for sexual assault, evidence tampering, and filing a false police report. His wife started screaming, "What? No, there's a mistake. Sir, turn around and put your hands behind your back." Derek looked around wildly. His eyes found me across the street. For a moment, we locked eyes. And I smiled. Not a happy smile, a hollow one, a dead one. The smile of a man who's lost everything and is taking you down with him. His face crumpled. They cuffed him, put him in the car, drove away. His wife collapsed on the doorstep, sobbing. His kids watched from the window, confused and terrified. I stood there and watched his life implode. And I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no relief, no joy. Just emptiness. Because destroying Derek didn't give me my eye back, didn't give me my job back, didn't give me my family back. It was just done. Marcus walked up next to me. "How do you feel?" he asked. I touched my dead eye. Like this is just the beginning. My phone started ringing 20 minutes after Derek's arrest. Uncle James, Aunt Claire, my mother, my father, cousins I hadn't spoken to in years. I didn't answer. I let them go to voicemail. And then I listened. "Uncle James, Marcus, please call me back. There's been a terrible mistake. Derek would never, he's a good man, a good father, please, you have to tell them it wasn't him." "Aunt Claire, how could you do this to your own family? Derek has children. You're destroying innocent bobbies because you're bitter and jealous." "My mother, Marcus, please. I know you're angry with us, but you have to drop this. Derek didn't do this. He couldn't have. Please don't tear this family apart." "My father, you selfish son of a bitch. You'd rather send an innocent man to jail than admit you made this whole thing up. Derek is family. He's got kids who need him, but you've never cared about anyone but yourself." I saved every voicemail. Because they were going to be evidence in the lawsuits. Evidence that my family knew, that they'd chosen Derek, that they'd sacrificed me to protect him. Even now, with all the proof, they were still choosing him. I was still the disposable one. The story broke the next day. Man arrested for SA. After framing cousin, victim speaks out about mistaken identity. My name was in the headline. Derek's name was in the headline. The whole sordid story spilled out for the world to see. And the comments, oh God, the comments. Half of them, "This is why we need to believe victims. This poor woman was SA'd and used as a weapon against an innocent man." The other half, "This is why false accusations are dangerous. This man lost everything." And both sides were weaponizing Sarah and me in their arguments, without caring about what we'd actually gone through. I watched it unfold from my apartment, the same destroyed apartment I'd returned to after my release, and I realized, even with Derek arrested, even with proof of my innocence, even with everything documented, I'd never get my life back. The internet doesn't forget. Google doesn't forget. My name would forever be linked to this. Marcus Thompson, wrongly accused of SA. Even with the wrongly in front of it, it was still there, still visible, still the first thing anyone would see when they searched me. I'd been destroyed. And Derek's arrest didn't fix that. It just meant he was destroyed too. We'd both lost everything. The difference was, he deserved it.